Welcome to my channel. And today's scary story is titled The Phone That Rang Me. If you find yourself alone in the middle of the night and your phone starts buzzing, don't pick up that call. If you do, you might just end up dead. Or maybe that's just what the caller wants you to think. It was well past midnight, and 22-year-old Amelia was fast asleep when her phone began to buzz. Startled awake, she looked at the caller ID and her blood ran cold. It simply read, "Me." Confused, she looked at the unfamiliar number. It wasn't a contact in her phone, nor did it show up as a local call. It was an international long-distance call. Curiosity got the best of her, and despite the insistent buzzing in her head telling her to hang up, she answered the call. "Hello." She answered hesitantly, a pause. "Hello, is anyone there?" She called out, her voice echoing in the empty room. Then she heard a familiar voice right at the other end. Her own voice. "Don't turn around," the voice whispered, and a shiver ran down Amelia's spine. Slowly, her head began to turn on its own accord, and she strained to look over her shoulder. And there she saw herself sitting in the corner of the room, a wide smile on her face. She screamed and tried to make sense of what she was seeing. Was this a hallucination brought on by a fever dream? Had she been infected by some crazy virus? Why was she seeing another version of herself? And why was that self smiling ominously from the corner of the room? Terrified, she backed away, her eyes never leaving the disturbing figure in the corner. "Who are you?" she whispered, her voice shaking. The figure only smiled wider, her grin stretching from ear to ear. It was then that Amelia noticed something strange about her. She was wearing the exact same nightgown that Amelia was wearing, but that was impossible. Only she knew that she hadn't changed into that nightgown until after her shift at the hospital. So how could the other her be wearing it now? Before Amelia could question her further, the figure stood up and began to walk towards her. Panic surged through Amelia and she turned to run, but it was too late. The other her blocked her way, her smile never faltering. And as she stepped closer, Amelia could see that her skin was pale, almost translucent, and her eyes were glowing red. With a start, she realized that the other her wasn't smiling at all. It was snarling, baring its teeth in a terrifying snarl. And then everything went black. When Amelia woke up the next morning, the first thing she saw was her phone lying on the floor next to her bed. The screen was shattered, but one word was still visible: "Me." And as she looked around the room, she realized that she wasn't alone. Sitting in the corner was a figure in a nightgown, smiling at her. And as it stood up, Amelia saw that it was herself. The end. If you enjoyed this scary story, make sure to share it with your friends and stay tuned for more terrifying tales. And remember, if you hear a phone ringing in the middle of the night, silence it if you value your life, because that call may not be meant for you. But if you answer it anyway, you might just end up like Amelia, trapped forever with your own worst fears.